Hey guys, good afternoon. It's Angelo Christian Financial. Thank you so much for watching Real Estate Insider, our podcast where America goes for funding for the last 20 years. Call or text us at the number above, 832-431-6331. Or you can click on the link down below in the YouTube video to actually get signed up to get pre-approved right there. So hey, are you job relocating? Are you moving to a different state? You know, right now people are moving all over the country. Millions of people are working remote. But they're having a hard time getting a loan. We've seen hundreds of thousands of people move all over the country. We're seeing people flee California, for example, move into Texas, flee California, move into Florida, people moving all over, back and forth all over the place, right? People from the north moving down to the south because of the weather, people moving to Hawaii, whatever it is, and they're having a hard time getting a loan. They're leaving their job, they're transferring their job, they're becoming self-employed. They're relocating. Their employer says it's okay for them to work remote because of COVID. But guess what? They're having a hard time getting the loan because they're moving their job. They're transferring their job. They're relocating. And maybe this is one of you people watching this video. Maybe you know somebody that got stuck trying to get a loan because they had to relocate or get a new job. So I want to talk about some of the requirements if you're transferring or moving jobs. And some of the solutions, some of the workarounds to help you guys out there if you're stuck in the middle of this and you're trying to buy a home and maybe you transferred from one state to another. What do you do? How do you help, Angelo? What are some of the solutions, the work-throughs? And so that's what this video is about today, because I've seen millions of people, not me personally that I've worked on, but heard stories of people that have had trouble moving from one state to another. And their employer, they're not keeping the same employment and they can't get a loan. The lender denies the loan. So what do you do? So we're going to talk about that today because it's a big topic, especially right now with a lot of people working remote, or a lot of people lost their job. A lot of people have new jobs. A lot of people went into new industries. A lot of people have moved to different states, right? So basically there's a few things I want to break it down. And I'm just going to use general underwriting guidelines for this, not specific to every single program, but general underwriting guidelines. So the bottom line is this. If you're transferring employment, but you're moving from one state to another, let's say that right now you live in California and Los Angeles and you want to move to Dallas. I've seen this a million times, and I know I'm using exaggerated numbers, but I've seen it a lot. I'm leaving California and want to come to Texas. Okay, no problem. But what are you going to do about your job? So if you're transferring your job, you're keeping the same employer, that's the easiest thing to do, right? Obviously, I'm staying with the same employer, same position. They have an office down in Texas. I'm just going to work out of that office. No big deal. Give me a transfer letter. I just need a transfer letter. Now, if you're going to a new employer, but the same industry. My company doesn't have an office in Texas. I got to get a new company to work for. If you go with a new company and you're a W-2 employee, you have to have an offer letter from the new company, and you usually have to start working there and get a paycheck before we can close on the house. Okay? So you have to move to the new state, start working before you can close on the new house. Okay? That's the second option. The third option, and you're seeing this a lot right now, especially in COVID, a lot of companies are letting their people work remote. So maybe that you stay with the same company and they let you work remote in Texas. Hey, the job that you do is pretty much on the computer anyway. You know what? You're okay to work remote. We'll bless that. And we'll get a letter from your human resource department verifying that you can work remote. If you're able to work remote, then it doesn't really matter what state you're in, whether you're in Texas or California. So if we can verify that you're able to work remote, and we can use that for the qualification of your loan, okay? So those are the three workarounds or three ways on how we can handle it. Now, if you're W-2'd and then you move to Texas and then you become self-employed, that's going to be the toughest situation for you, because if you left a W-2 position and now you're going to become self-employed, you have to be self-employed for at least 2 years before you can get a loan. Okay, and I understand that's the only option for some people. I've seen many people, because of COVID, their industry has gotten, downsized or evaporated. They've gone into new lines of work and they become self-employed. If you're becoming self-employed, you have to be self-employed for at least 2 years before you can be eligible for a home. Most home loans, not every home loan, but most home loans. So that is one thing to be mindful of if you do become self-employed. But if you're relocating, it's okay, but just remember what we talked about. There's a difference between when you're staying with the same company, you're going to go work for a new company, or if you're becoming self-employed, and how to navigate through that if you're trying to get a loan to buy a house. And those are the options that you have and what you need to be thinking about when you're moving. Because, see, if you're leaving California to come to Texas, you have to think about, okay, I got to pack up all my stuff in California. Then you're going to have to live somewhere temporarily in Texas so you can go to work for that company and work until you close, unless the seller of the home that you buy is gracious enough to let you stay in his home until the loan closes. Now, that might not always be the case, but sometimes that can happen. But you're going to have to think through those steps about where am I going to live temporarily while I'm working in Texas until my loan closes. You might have to get a short-term rental. You might have to do Airbnb. You might have to live in a hotel. I've lived in hotels for a decent amount of my life. And so, you're just going to have to think through those things depending on what you're doing. Or if you're working remote, just run that past your employer and say, hey, is it okay if I work remote? I want to move to Miami. I want to move to the beach, or whatever. So just think about that, because these things are coming up, and what you don't want to do is be unprepared. If you notice, a lot of things that we do in our channel is educate you so you're prepared, you're ready for what's to come when you're trying to get funding. Okay, guys? That's a very big thing with us, is empowering you so you have the knowledge to get the best funding out there. So appreciate you guys watching the show on the channel. Call or text us at the number above if we can help you with any type of funding. Or, again, click on the link down below in the YouTube description. Share this with anyone you know that's relocating. They're getting a new job, they're transferring, and they're trying to get a home loan. Maybe this will give them some information, some insight. Give us a big thumbs up on the channel. Do not forget to watch us every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, Talk with Angelo Live. Thank you so much for watching Angelo Christian, and check out my next video, and thank you.